I didn't want to be ungrateful, but the job I had prayed for was starting to crush me. Then I figured out how to get back on my feet. Welcome to the Resilient Foreigner podcast, where we explore the stories, studies, and strategies that help foreign professionals like you to build better lives abroad. I'm Didana Shanta, the founder of Resilient Foreigner, and I help foreign professionals to cultivate intercultural resilience one relationship at a time. Thriving abroad isn't just about finding the right job, learning the language, or even understanding the culture. It's about finding your people, the friends who show up, the mentors who guide you, and the communities where you feel like you belong. So, if you're ready to build resilience, create meaningful relationships, and thrive wherever life takes you, you're in the right place. Now, today we want to talk about what happens after you found yourself in a job that feels less like a dream and more like a disaster. The reality is that sometimes when a door of opportunity finally opens up for you, it begins to feel like trials and tribulations instead of like the dream job that you prayed for. And after last week's episode, a number of people reached out to me. Some of you shared your experiences, your concerns, your challenges, but mostly you wanted to know, so what do I do? Whether it is to prevent this from happening to you, or once you realize that you've found yourself in this situation, what to do. Last time we spoke about how workplace culture could be a big cause of stress. If you end up in a job where the workplace culture is very different from what you're used to, or even difficult to deal with. We spoke about discrimination. So, in the case of like workplace culture, one of the examples I gave is where overworking was celebrated. So that would kill all your efforts towards work-life balance, right? Or at least to setting boundaries between when it's time for work and when it's time to chill and be a human. Some of it went into some of the unplanned expenses that come with certain jobs, or in the case of discrimination, where you get on a job and you realize that whether it is other colleagues or supervisors, people in management who are actively trying to sabotage you. Sometimes bullying is the norm in certain work environments, and you are kind of like beside yourself with terror, like, how did I get here? Like, why did I give up a life that was familiar and probably even fun and fulfilling, to come and be in this place where I'm being tormented? And in some cases, it's not even like it's a messed up culture or you being mistreated, but sometimes it's the rules, whether you know what the rules are or the rules are unfair. In some cases, there are insufficient provisions to keep employees safe, or it may be that no one has thought ahead to say, okay, this is the standard in the workforce, and so we should provide this for employees. Or sometimes it's just straight up unfair, where you may not be getting the wage that you deserve based on industry standards or the norm. And for so many different reasons, you can end up in a situation where you feel like the job you're in is crushing you. And in some cases, you might complain. In some cases, you might be afraid to complain because others may be looking at you and saying, "But at least you have a job. Why are you complaining? Who told you to, who told you to leave your country and then come here and now you're complaining? If you don't like it, then go back home." And that isn't a helpful response, right? People need to acknowledge that just as how you could be in your home country and decide to go for a promotion within the same company or go to a different department or switch companies, switch careers, and it can turn out to be a good idea or it can turn out to be a disappointment. The same thing can happen when you're in a new country. So it is a matter of weighing the cost of whichever direction you choose to go into. But before I talk about some of the actual measures you can take, the steps you can take to ensure that this kind of work disaster doesn't crush you, we need to actually consider what is it that you are tackling when you are burdened down by workplace or work related stress. Now, work related stress can legit cause depression. I've seen this, I've probably even experienced it at different times in my life. And when we say depression, we're talking about where you're just, and some people I might call it even high functioning depression. So you're still showing up, you're still doing stuff, you get to work on time, you get stuff done, and on the outside you appear to be normal, but inside you are normal. You don't know what you're living for, you don't know what your next goal is or why you're doing anything that you're doing. You have forgotten what it means like to be excited about life. Uh, Nothing moves you in the sense of being cheerful or excited or any sense of appreciation. You just kind of say, well, it's just another day, going with the flow, no enthusiasm. And one thing I've learned is that in order to have joy, to be at peace, to have a fulfilling life, you have to have something that you're looking forward to. It's one of the things that you need, something to look forward to. And when it is the place where you spend majority of your life, yeah, life, because if you have 168 hours in the week and half of that time, or sorry, a third of that time, one third of that your week you're supposed to be spending sleeping, the other third you are spending working, and then the next third is just to get you to work. And hopefully, if you manage your time well, you're enjoying some of it. It might be chores, it might be self care, it might be taking care of family, it might be doing hobbies, but you are spending 35 to 40 hours a week in this space that is damaging you and damaging your mental health. But not just your mental health, some people actually develop diseases that are triggered by the stress that they are under. Stress can nullify all the good food you could eat, all the sleep you could, you said high quality sleep you could try to have, the exercise you do. If you are not able to manage or even reduce stress, like work related stress, you can compromise your immune system. You can end up with increased inflammation in your body and develop diseases that are a result of stress. Um, I remember David Mulling spoke about how he ended up having to do major surgery because of work related stress. Another resilient foreigner. And so, yeah, it is real. Sometimes work related stress can result in a ruined reputation when you make mistakes on the job or you misunderstand what's expected of you or what's the norm in this new environment. And then you end up doing something that makes you look bad, even if you didn't intend to or you were misled, whatever the case is, and probably even lead to legal troubles. So, if this is something that you don't take care of, it can become a real issue. And so, it's important. What does it look like when it becomes an issue? It could look like panic attacks every Monday morning. You wake up and you realize, oh, I got to go back to work. And just the thought of going back into that environment, you begin to have a panic attack. I personally um, heard of, or I should say, someone personally shared with me that this was their reality, where every Monday they wake up and it is terror. Just the idea of going into this workplace, and they weren't in the position to say, okay, I'm going to pack up and go back to my home country. It might look like you going to the restroom to cry or sitting in your car during your lunch break just to relieve all of the stress that you're holding up throughout the workday. It might show up as unexplained pains or just unreasonable weight gain because maybe it's affecting your eating habits, so many things. Stress from a bad work situation can lead to insomnia. You lay down, you can't fall asleep, or you wake up at odd hours of the night and struggle to go back to sleep. You may find yourself going throughout the day with a very tight jaw, teeth are clenched together, and you just can't relax. There's muscle tension in different parts of your body. It might show up as insecurity. Someone who was the top of their game in their home country. They've done this work for years, for decades. They know their job, they know their industry, they know their profession. But because of the unhealthy environment or the disconnect with how things work in the new country, in the new industry, they just feel insecure. You might feel like, okay, I have no idea where this is going, what's in the horizon for me, if I can really make it in this place. And suddenly you begin to doubt yourself. This is not what we want to deal with. So, what do you do? So I'm going to share strategies from two perspectives with you. So if it is you feel like, okay, I have gotten into this job, whether it's your dream job or it is a job that is holding you down until or allowing you to manage your responsibilities and to help you achieve your goals, whatever the situation is, if you're finding a tough time in your job, whether it's discrimination, whether it's toxic workplace culture or a misunderstood workplace culture or rules that are unfair or unsafe, whatever the situation is, you have two approaches that you can take. It's either you are going to be preventative, meaning before you get into this situation, you can take measures to prevent this kind of work-related stress. Or if you found yourself in it, then we can explore what's secure. So under the theme of prevention, you got to do your research. So if you are an international student and you are preparing to say, okay, I'm about to graduate and I'm going to go job hunting, you need to prepare by doing your research. If you revisit last week's episode, we spoke about the importance of getting information. A great way to do this is through informational interviews. You're going to hunt down people who are in either the position you aim to go for, or they're working for the company that you want to work for. They are in the same industry. You reach out to them and say, hey, this is my goal, this is my vision. One day I'd love to get into this sector, or I'd love to learn more about this organization. If you don't mind, I'd love just 15 minutes of your time to ask you some questions. Sometimes your questions might include things like, how did you get into this field, or how would someone get into a position similar to yours? What are the credentials I need? What are the norms in this company? What is expected of me? What is the company culture? You ask them questions like that. That's an informational interview. And then of course it's super important, we spoke about this in last episode, to get mentors. people who can, sometimes they might be people who are from your country of origin, who can say, hey, this is how things work here, but it's just what we're used to back home. And sometimes it will be a local in your host country who can say to you, okay, these are the expectations, this is what you need to be prepared for, this is how you need to show up to ensure that you get the respect you deserve and that you hold your ground in this organization or this industry. Next, always ask. This is one of my favorites. Always ask. Whether it is that you need information, meaning you're clueless, you don't know how things work, you don't know what to do, always ask. Always ask for permission because you don't want to know that you're going on assumption and doing things the way you are used to doing it back home and you end up messing up big time. And over a simple thing that you could have just gotten permission about, you have ruined your reputation, you have put yourself in um, the bad, you say on the blacklist of maybe your organization, whatever. Just ask. Ask first. No assumptions. When you are new to a space, it's important that you ask. Ask for assistance. Do not assume that because you've done this a million times, that now that you're in a new country, a new job, a new organization, sometimes a new industry, that you are just going to run with things and take care of everything yourself. You never know just by asking for assistance. Someone may tell you that, oh, in this country or in this organization, in this position, we do it this way. And so let me show you. Or I have these resources. Or they may be able to point out to you what you are lacking. So they may realize, oh, you don't have this particular credential as essential, so go and sort this out. Or they may let you know, hey, do you know you're entitled to XYZ? Please fill out this form so you can access it. Sometimes what you don't know is what is causing your problem. So having someone give you that assistance, sometimes the forms are in another language that's not your first language, and having someone to go over that form with you and say, okay, this is what this means, you need to fill this out here, or to attend events with you. So many different ways that people can help. Number three, have options. If you find yourself in a desperate position or a desperate mindset, you are lining yourself up for trouble because people will smell that you are desperate and they will take advantage of that. And that is how you can end up being sabotaged, end up being mistreated, taken advantage of. Because you are desperate. It also means that even when there are red flags about a particular work situation, you will rush into it and ignore the red flags because you are desperate, and never feel that it is too much for you to pack your bags and leave. It is better for you to leave and return stronger, more informed, better prepared than to stay and destroy your entire future. So, do your research, get the information you need, get mentorship, ask, and have options. Now, what if you're already in a bad situation? What do you do? The first thing you're going to need to do is to rethink the purpose of this job. So before, you probably thought, oh, this is my dream job, this is exactly what I want to go into, or this is the best company in this particular industry, and this is the place I want to be. But if you realize that this thing is tearing you apart and is set to destroy you if you don't do something about it, then you're gonna have to reframe. Say, okay, this is not necessarily the dream job I thought it was, but maybe it's the bridge to where I'm supposed to go, or the bridge to where I want to go. So instead of feeling like, okay, I'm in my dream job, but my dream job is this strong, I'm gonna stay here. Say, okay, I didn't have all the information I needed to properly assess this opportunity, but guess what? It's paying my bills. Or guess what? It's allowing me to build up the experience I need in this particular industry, or is allowing me to get the training or the credentials I need so I can move on to something else. You're going to have to reframe it. Ask yourself, how can I benefit despite the disaster that's going on around me? How can I turn this around to view it as something beyond what I thought it was before, so I can cope, if only for a little bit longer. Number two, set a departure date or a destination, some big goal that you can work towards. And remember, I said in order for you to be at peace and have joy, you have to have something to look forward to. So you're gonna stop and say, okay, it's I think you're gonna say to you, okay, I'm not staying here beyond the contract dates that I have. I'm just giving myself enough time to work out this contract and then I'm gone. Or you might say, I'm giving myself 6 more months to find something else. Or I'm giving myself until I have saved up this amount of money. And once I've saved up this amount of money, then I can either go back home, or I can move somewhere else, or I can take some time off so I can find a different job. Whatever the situation is, it's either going to set a date or a destination, meaning you're trying to accomplish something. And guess what? As much as you may be dealing with um, a difficult boss or unpleasant co-workers, if you now see this job as a bridge, and then two, you've given yourself a cut-off date to say, okay, it's only until this time, or okay, it's only until I get this much money saved up, then you start to ignore all the chaos. You start to ignore all the destructive behaviors and tendencies, and you're just focused in on your goal. So you know, okay, if my goal is to save $10,000, and okay, yes, I have 2,000 now. I know only have to go this. And after a while, all your energy goes towards working on your goals. Then, third of all, very important, seek professional support. Whether it is because this thing is causing you medical distress and you need to go to a doctor and get the support you need to get your health back on track, or you need some psychological support. So whether your company offers uh, in Canada, we call it employee assistance programs, where there is a provision for, say, you to visit a counselor, or maybe your job doesn't provide that, but a local nonprofit offers counseling, or maybe your local church or mosque offers counseling. Go and get a counselor, someone you can vent to. They can give you some tools to use to ensure that things are done. And then, of course, legal advice. Sometimes that's where you have to take it, and someone who's going to explain to you what your rights are, what steps you need to take to get things done. So, do what you need to do and ensure that you get the support you need. So, that is my recommendation for how you handle these kinds of situations. If you have been in this kind of situation or another, maybe there's something else that's stressing you out, maybe it's not work related, you let me know what's something that's stressing you abroad. So remember, resilience isn't about being in isolation and fixing things yourself. Don't just live abroad, build a life abroad. By doing what? Reaching out to someone today. So if you have a question, a concern, or just want to share your experience, send me a message, let me know. And until next time, build a better life abroad.